made it to the hotel, driving on the left first time, and didn't crash. The first car I saw on the road was a police car, so that went pretty well. So hopefully that continues. So sort of hotel, because we're definitely way too early, but
the view from the hotel room was incredible. I had hoped to capture better lighting conditions and even to set alarms for sunrises, but it wasn't meant to be. The next morning we jumped on the 43 to head downtown Edinburgh. We were heading to a Harry Potter walking tour, but took the views of the Scots Monument first. I used a long exposure to try and remove the crowds of people. Some stood still for too long, and they were removed in post. I didn't pay too much attention to the walking tour as I took in the view, tried to get some images without getting left behind in the crowds of people. After the tour, we had some time to kill before our entry to Edinburgh Castle. We explored the Royal Mile and then ventured into St. Giles Cathedral. I'm not a church person, but they made some amazing buildings. Inside, I tried to capture some interesting shots, even some abstract long exposures handheld, changing the focal length during the shot with the stained glass window as the subject. The organ was incredible. We got into the castle and it was windy, but it wasn't raining, which was a bonus. The cool things you couldn't take pictures of, but the views were nice. After some food, it was off to Calton Hill to wait for the sunset. I did get distracted by a lone tree, or one I could isolate, as I explored the hill ahead of the sunset. I'm on Calton Hill. It's about an hour until the sun goes behind the horizon, and it's just dipping below cloud, and hopefully that doesn't affect anything. There's clear skies below the cloud. So this is one of the spots that I want to shoot the sunset at today. There's another spot that's a little bit further up, but this one's going to be on the clock here, and then some of the points on the... I can't remember it anymore. I learned too many things today. So the sun's just dipping below, getting a little bit of color now. The castle's in here. The clock on the hotel, I believe it is, where J.K. Rowling wrote some Harry Potter. This guy is a statue to, I guess, it's the biggest statue for the writer. And then some nice other peaks. So there's a crazy number of people here. So this is, I've had a couple of people poke around this corner here, but I have the spot kind of to myself right now, but in any other peak, there's people. And then just in the city, it's crazy considering it's the start of September. I would have thought most of the touristy people would be gone, but it's just packed. But I guess that's less than normal, so.
hopefully it's not too windy at Tantallon Castle. This is going to be like my first real shot, but it's not of the castle. So we're looking out over the water and it's Bass Rock, and there's a lighthouse on the rock, which is super neat. And that's going to be the first shot. I'm just waiting for the sun to pop out of the clouds to light up the castle. Sorry, light up the lighthouse. Because right now everything's just flat, but at 600 millimeters, pretty much there'll be rock and the castle on the rock face, which is pretty neat. I don't think I'm going to get that light, so we're going to work with the first shot I got and use that one. Now to go on to the outside of the castle and get a nice shot of the actual castle. Again, Tantallon Castle from the entrance. Got a nice stone wall here leading into the castle. Currently shooting a 2-minute exposure. Hopefully those clouds move enough. And then any of the little bit of people that are on the outcrops will be blurred out. Oh, there he is.
I love how both of these long exposures came out. Do you have a favorite, landscape or vertical?
So currently at Barns Ness Lighthouse. It's about 10 minutes away from where we were at Tantallon Castle. Hopefully it's pretty windy here, so hopefully the audio comes through. Just working on a long exposure, 1 minute. I think I'm at f16, 13 stop ND filter to get that 1 minute. And just adding a little bit of movement to the grass and adding a little bit of wispiness to the clouds. So this one's going to encompass the whole building. I also played around with kind of dropping lower to the ground and just shooting the pillar, which I think is pretty neat. Well, I have no idea if those turned out or not. I got soaked, camera got soaked. I started off with much longer exposures, then I eventually dropped it down with a 3-stop to half a second and just fired away, and hopefully one turned out. Back to the car. Main destination for tonight was Dunstanburgh Castle. It's a beach, cobblestone beach with a nice castle as a backdrop. We'll see if we get any color, if these clouds let off or not, and if it doesn't look like it's gonna work, then I'll probably call it early, but that's the plan. Dunstanburgh Castle. That's all fired up. Super cool ruin next to the water. So I just got back from shooting a few shots on the beach. The sun's about to go down. We got about another hour before the sun's below, and I just put some pants on because it's getting a little cold. Now I'm gonna go find the cobblestones, or more like the round stones closer to the castle, I think. And then that's my intended shot. So I just gotta figure out how to get there. Distracted, nice sunset coming in. I'm just shooting across the rocks and then gonna keep making my way. Pretty sure it's just around the corner where I want to be, so can't see it. Almost there. The question is, how slippery are these rocks? Peggy's Cove, you stay off the black rocks. These are all black. You get to the water. There's glow on the castle. Definitely slipper the wetter they get. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do this. I want long exposure with the waves going through these rocks, and then leading up into the castle ruins, and then Probably going to take off my pants. I have the shorts on underneath and then go barefoot so I don't get soaked. And then I'll still have dry stuff to walk back in. I'm kind of warm right now from the walk in. There's not a cloud above the castle, so we won't need to go crazy long with a long exposure to get the ethereal look. But if that bank went in behind, so we're about 20 minutes away from the sun going behind the horizon, so we should get a little bit more color still. I moved up quite a bit further. I didn't like this hill in the way, so I'm going to venture, got my filters. Don't want to make too many trips, although I'm going to have to come back and grab you guys, but well, Thomas Hayden makes that look easy. I assume I was shooting in a similar spot. He's my inspiration for a bunch of my photography. But yeah, so I left you guys behind. I almost lost my camera in the water. I almost lost my phone in the water. I'm wet up above the knee. That's why I took the pants off. But I think I got the shots I wanted. So I also didn't want to lose my kit on the beach with it getting too dark. But I think most of the lights gone. That's way brighter than reality. I'm going to quickly go back to the sand and try to get one last look at with the beach, assuming the tide hasn't gone out too far. So then get back to the wife who's sitting in the car waiting for me this whole time. So today was a Chris day. Tomorrow is a her day. So yeah, so we'll see if I get that last shot in at the beach. This will be today's end for photography.
The next day was a much needed slower paced day. We headed to Stirling and checked out the castle grounds, but not going in. The view of the Wallace Monument was great from here with the telephoto.
noticed as I was climbing this little hill here to get advantage of Stirling Castle, there's a rainbow which is right over here. I don't know if it'll show up, but when I got up here, that little rain shower was, I think it's this mound here that the Wallace Monument is on. And I think I got a shot with it. Quickly put the polarizer on to kind of give it a little bit more oomph, so hopefully that image shows up. But in behind me somewhere, it's a little off in the distance. So right up in here is Stirling Castle, and this should have a good vantage. It has a good vantage view of both the Wallace Monument and the castle with the telephoto. So.
I thought I did a voice piece while I was down in the Devil's Pulpit, but it must have been running and I stopped it or I missed it altogether. It's not the first time and it won't be the last, I'm sure. Walking along the steep cliffs trying to find a way down, I didn't realize that it would be so noticeable. It was an old staircase that had slipped away over the years, but it was pretty easy to navigate down with calculated steps. At the bottom, it was raining. There was also a bunch of other people. I waited my turn and watched these two guys walk across the river. They went upstream a little bit. One fell in up to his chest, and then they eventually came back. And the rain subsided when I was taking my shots. I went with long exposures using a circular polarizer as well for these couple images here.
back up to that viewpoint for Stirling Castle for sunset. We might not get it. Lots of clouds. There is a gap here. The clouds are going this way, so we'll see how it happens. But it is kind of doom and gloom that way, and then so we'll see. Well, back to the car. Gonna get rained out here. You can definitely see the hills disappearing, and the castle is behind a layer of rain as well.
After being chased away by the rain yet again, we hit the Keilpes on the way back, which are massive metal sculptures. Today they were orange. I snapped a few shots. There's a single light source at the top. I did try to position for the eye with the starburst shooting at f16 on my 20mm prime lens, but I wasn't able to get the proper angle in the allotted time. The following day was an Outlander tour where I was the wife's personal photographer, and then the following day we departed for Inverness going through Glencoe. I hope you enjoyed this video and the images, and come back next week for part 2 with Inverness as the hub.